Good morning. I wanted to talk about something that I experienced. I've been going through a very tumultuous time with my roommate, and it was starting to feel, well, it was feeling very much like he would not see me again. And so I decided to let go of that. I decided to let go of needing to be seen. I decided to let go of, trying to change his mind, that I am still the person who was his friend, and I am a good person, not an evil person. And so I allowed him to think that. I stopped trying to influence that. I was like, he can resent me, he can think I'm evil. I let him go. So one night I just journaled through this and was like, I accept that this person will not be my friend. This person is not being a friend to me. This person is not my friend. And I let this person go. And the next day, the first thought I had of him, I was like, oh. And whereas I'd been feeling like a lot of negativity when I thought of him and was really struggling with keeping thoughts of love and compassion, this was very different. This was like, oh, I love this person. And I was doing something that I really don't do very often. Really, hardly at all. I don't meditate. And I was just sitting, I was listening to trance music, and I was sitting Indian style, and I was just staring at the backside of my closed bedroom door, and I just felt so in awe of the compassion, the love that I was feeling for my roommate, and for myself. It was profound. I've never experienced anything like that. I think it's safe to say that I've never experienced anything like that. I'll tell you, anytime that I thought of no longer having my boyfriend in my life, my ex-boyfriend now, my Sean, my mind would just flip out, and I would not even be able to comprehend that reality in which he and I weren't together, and this was I am still living with my roommate, but he and I hadn't been friends for a good month, and I lost this person, and I accepted that loss, and whatever he thought of me, and he was thinking that I was really being hateful towards him, that I was only speaking to bitch at him, that I was wishing ill upon him, and that I had been in disguise, that I wasn't really a friend before, it was it was an act or something, and that is not the situation at all. This was a very good friend of mine, and I missed him sincerely, and anything that I would be enjoying in life, I would just have a little thought of him. I would like to share this with him when I see him again. But so it was really profound that the night before I let him go, I journaled, I really mourned the loss, hardcore crying. And then the next day was just no matter how much he resents me, no matter how evil he thinks I am, that doesn't need to make me evil. That he's been seeing me as a monster, and I've been meeting that reflection, that expectation that he's having. And I don't need to do that anymore. And it doesn't matter how much he hates me or what he thinks of me. I love him. I continue to love him, and nothing will stop me from loving him. And I'm like thinking, like fully accepting, like we are not going to be in one another's lives. That this is, it's only like 2 months, and it was like, oh, this roommate thing is not going to work out. We just have like lots more months, but when the lease is up, like this is someone who will cease to be part of my reality. In a relatively near future, and I was okay with that, and that wasn't gonna stop me from loving him, and so I just sat in this profound, loving, like, seat of compassion, and I just felt like it was different than the love and light that I feel like for you all when I sit and I just feel like a beam of light, and I'm just like transmitting that energy to everyone that I love, and believing in the best outcomes for everyone. It was different than that. It felt like I was in like a pink bubble. It felt like I was in a pink bubble, and it was just this expansive heart, like, chakra feeling, and it was just really, really amazing. And anytime that day, all that day, any thought I had of him was just, I forgive you. I see all of the hurt that you put on me as just evidence that you are hurting. You're a hurting soul. And I mean, it was just like really, really amazing stuff. And so that evening he texted me, and he said that he missed me and needed to be forgiven, and wanted to be in each other's lives again, and to be friends again. And it was just, that's amazing. He said that the night before he had just like felt all of that hate that he'd had. Like, it's like he suddenly saw it and was so horrified by it, like those ugly emotions he'd been having, and dwelling in those spaces. Like, he was suddenly horrified by the hatred that he had. And it's like, oh, whoa, coincidentally, I was that evening releasing you, letting you go. And I think maybe that might be like, whereas before I let him go, I was a mirror, and he was putting that energy on me without me there, because I removed myself from the situation as I let him go. Then he's forced to look at these feelings, like, suddenly the reflection is himself, and he was able to see those energies and those feelings for how ugly that negativity is. But yeah, so it was profound. It was a profound, loving experience before he texted me and wanted to repair our relationship. It's 10 times more profound that I released him and sat in loving compassion. I let him go. And he immediately came back. I didn't let him go so that he would come back. That was not a thought at all. Not a thought at all. It just, it's just very interesting how things happen. I wish that I could exercise this compassionate release for my Sean, but I I don't know how as yet, so it seems significant. Yeah, so it's good, and we're getting along, and we're like trying to have like discussions about things, but it's very difficult because he doesn't want to believe in there being a purpose to life, in there being like reason, pattern, and everything. So like I'm trying to be like, okay, like we are soulmates approaching this journey of like spiritual reawakening, allowing ourselves to use our third eye, which I really feel is like what he and I are supposed to be doing right now with one another, because he's pretty intuitive and just doesn't listen to it and then regrets it, because he'll be like, oh, I had a bad feeling about that, but I did it anyway. And yeah, he doesn't want to believe in spiritual stuff. He's not open-minded, so that is difficult to be like, well, let's discuss our contract as soulmates, and he doesn't acknowledge that we have one, so it's tricky, but things have definitely evened out in the home. My cats have acclimated to his dog pretty well, and they're no longer being butt sick or front sick. And yeah. So okay, I just wanted to share that with you. I don't know, have you ever experienced anything like that? Like someone that you love and wanted to know forever, yet were totally okay with letting them go, and they immediately came back to you? Like, it's like that thing, like, if you love them, let them go. It was like compassionate release, and that intention, that action was like immediately rewarded and returned. So it's like really intense spiritual stuff happening with me. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. So my back is really hurting. That's all. That's all I have to talk about. Okay. Thank you for watching. Comment and let me know what you think, or if you're like hardcore skeptic, like what's your perspective on that? And I always want other perspectives. I value other people's opinions and their take on what I say and the way that I live. So don't ever hesitate to say anything. Okay. I love you. Love and light. Bye-bye.